Hello, my name is Barbara Leland, and I'm a certified holistic health coach in Huntington Beach, and I do the healthy eating classes here at the Hoag Cancer Center. Today, we're going to continue our discussion from last week. Actually, we're going to do a cooking demo today using some of the items that we learned last week. And I do the healthy. And so let's before we start cooking though, let's talk about the ingredients that we're going to be using. So the first item that we're going to be making is the protein powder, and the protein powder consists of hemp seeds, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and flax seeds. So hemp seeds, you want to get them raw and you want to get them organic. You can get them all over the place. They have them at Trader Joe's, they have them at Whole Foods. These here, the 365, that's the organic whole food brand. The benefits of hemp seed: they're anti-inflammatory, they're antioxidant, they're a complete protein. They have soluble and insoluble fiber, if you remember our discussion last week when we talked about fiber. And they are full of omega-3s. So hemp seed's very important, very good, nice nutrient for you to have. We're going to be using chia seeds, again organic. You can get them at Trader Joe's, you can get them at Whole Foods, you can get them at Sprouts, you probably can get them at Ralph's. I bet you can even get them at Costco. The benefits of those are they're anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, they help control your blood sugar. They contain calcium. 3 tablespoons of chia seed is the same calcium as in 1 glass of milk. They're a complete protein. They have mostly soluble fiber, and they also have omega-3s. Pumpkin seeds, again, raw, organic, and all these things are anti-inflammatory, and these also have antioxidants. They help control your blood sugar. They help you with your cholesterol. They increase your good and reduce your bad cholesterol. They also have soluble and insoluble fiber. They contain magnesium, omega-3s, and the brand that I'm showing here is Now Foods. Now Real Food Organic Raw Pumpkin Seeds. They're available at Whole Foods, Sprouts, Mother's, if you have a Mother's in your area. They're pretty, you know, the thing is I believe at Trader Joe's they don't have the organic. So you do want to look for the organic when you're looking for nuts and seeds, okay? And sunflower seeds, again, raw and organic, and I'm using the Now Foods. Again, I don't think Trader Joe's has the organic. And they're anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. They help your blood sugar levels as well. It's a complete protein. It has omega-3s as well as selenium, vitamin E, and zinc, and that all helps support the immune system, which is super important. And flaxseed. And the flaxseed, also organic, and you're going to use whole flaxseed in this. And the benefits of that, they're anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, again, blood sugar levels are controlled, soluble and insoluble fiber, omega-3s. They're not a complete protein, but they combine with the other seeds to make a complete protein. Then we're going to move on to our smoothie. So we're making 3 recipes today, so I better get to it. But we're going to make a smoothie with banana, blueberries, the protein powder that we are going to first make, and coconut milk. And the benefits of the bananas are they're anti-inflammatory, they're easy to swallow, so if you're having difficulty, mouth sores or sore throat or anything like that, they're easy to swallow. They can help with diarrhea. They have potassium, and that helps. They also help replace electrolytes. So that's super important. Blueberries, and you can use, for both of these recipes that we're using, the oatmeal and the smoothie, you can use fresh or frozen blueberries. They're super high in antioxidants. They help you control your blood pressure. They help control your blood sugar levels. They help your brain function, so they could help you with chemo brain. They're easy to digest, so you're not going to, especially if you're having digestive issues, either diarrhea or constipation, or you're not feeling well. They support your liver, and as we said last week, the liver is processing everything that is going into your system, and you're putting a lot of things into your system right now, so you want to support your liver. And they're non-acidic, so if you're having any GERD or anything like that, then the blueberries are a real good choice. Some fruits like strawberries or pineapple, things like that, you might have a little bit more problem with, especially if you're having mouth sores or sore throat, but the blueberries are non-acidic, so that'll help you. And the coconut milk, now I am kind of specific on getting my coconut milk at Trader Joe's because they're one of the few coconut milks that I have found in a can that's no BPA on the can lining. There's no fillers or thickeners in the coconut milk. It is just coconut and water. That's it. So the benefits of coconut milk is anti-inflammatory. It's easily digestible. They have healthy fats. Healthy fats help your energy level. And that's not a quick energy like a carbohydrate would be, but it is a sustaining energy. So the healthy fats help your energy levels. They have manganese, very high in manganese, which helps with protein utilization. It's slightly sweet, so when you don't have an appetite, sometimes sweet is a little bit more tempting, even without an appetite. And it contains vitamin C and E. The sweetness from the coconut milk is not, you don't have to worry, there's no added sugar. It's just the sugar from the coconut itself, okay? And then the last thing we're going to make are overnight oats. And again, you can see the ingredients that we're going to be using. And some of them we've already discussed, but we'll discuss the ones that we haven't. So we're using oats, and we're using organic oats, rolled organic. You don't want to use instant, and you don't want to use the little small ones. I can't remember the name of it, but they're harder. You want the rolled oats, and do get organic. It's not so much about the pesticides that they use to grow the oats, but it's really about what they spray it with when they're ready to pick the oats to make that process faster. If you remember a couple of seminars ago, we talked about pesticides and grains. You really want to use organic grains. The benefits of the oats are they're antioxidant, they control your blood pressure, they help your blood sugar, they help your cholesterol, very good for your cholesterol, soluble and insoluble fiber, depending on if they're raw or cooked. They help your immune system. They have melatonin, so if you have your oats at night, they can help you sleep better too. And they have selenium, which may help lower colon cancer risk. So oats are a really good option for you, and they're very easy to digest. We're using CEYLON cinnamon instead of, this is a specific cinnamon, and it's a true cinnamon. And CEYLON cinnamon, the properties of CEYLON cinnamon, one of the main benefits is that it really helps your body process sugar. The other cinnamon that you get in the store, the one that you usually have, I think it's a CHIA cinnamon, and that one, it's a stronger cinnamon. It tastes good, tastes great, but this one's more mild, more gentle. It still tastes like cinnamon, but that one doesn't really have the properties to help your blood sugar or help you process sugar as the CEYLON cinnamon does. Anyway, it's anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. It helps your blood pressure, blood sugar, as I said, and your immune system. And then we're using pecans today. You can use other nuts as well. Because we're using blueberries, I thought the pecans go well with the blueberries. In the winter, when I do it with apples, I use walnuts. I like to use walnuts a lot. But the pecans have a lot of good properties as well. And again, you want to use raw and organic. And they're antioxidant. They have soluble fiber. They have healthy fats again, magnesium, calcium, vitamin A and E, and zinc. That's all going to help your immune system as well, and omega-3s. So those are the ingredients that we're going to be using. And I just like to give you a little overview of them because then you'll be familiar with it when we start to cook. So let's get started with the cooking of our, well, we're not going to cook this, but we're going to make our protein powder. And on your recipe, the quantities here, it makes a pretty good amount. So if you want to cut that down, which we're going to do today, if you want to cut that down it'll still give you a good amount and you can keep it in your refrigerator. If you're making the full-on recipe, you might want to freeze some of it and just keep a smaller amount in your refrigerator. We're going to just cut it down to 2 tablespoons and 1 tablespoon. So you see the ratios? You have half cup, half cup, half cup, blah, blah, blah. And then you have 1/4 cup of the flax seeds. So on the flax seeds, if you're doing 2 tablespoons, then you're just going to do 1 tablespoon of flax seed. If you're doing 1 tablespoon, you're going to do a 1/2 tablespoon of flax seed. Get it? So everything else will be the same except for the flax seed. So I'm using a coffee grinder to make the protein powder, and I've already got them measured out. So I'm going to pour in, and it also says on the recipe to do it separately because they process differently. I've found that in the coffee grinder and making a small amount, you really don't have to do that. You can do it all at one time. If you're making a large amount using a food processor, you may want to do it separately, but this works fine. So I'm just going to pour in my chia, my sunflower seeds, and like I said, these all have been measured out, my hemp seeds. Oops. Hemp seeds are have more fat in them, so they are a little moister, a little more moist. Pumpkin seeds. And if you don't have a coffee grinder that is just for non-coffee use, you might want to get one. It's great for spices, or if you're grinding any kind of grain, you can grind millet, or just depends on what you make and what you use, but I really enjoy having a coffee grinder for this kind of thing. And then flaxseed. If you have questions as we're going along, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I'll get to them when we're done. So I'm just going to go ahead and start grinding this. I mean, this couldn't be easier, really. And when you make your own protein powder, you're not getting any of the chemicals or questionable items that might be in a purchased protein powder. You know exactly what you're putting in it. You could also put like a vanilla powder in this to give it a little bit more flavor, but I like to make it plain because I don't know what I'm going to be putting it in. You can put it, this one, you can put it in anything. The only thing you can't put it in is water. You can, but it's not going to mix. Like a regular protein, a purchased protein powder will dissolve in water or any kind of liquid like a juice. This will not. So you want to use this in something that, a smoothie, or like oatmeal like we're doing today, or baked goods, or a stew even. You can put it really in anything, but not in a liquid to dissolve. So now we have the protein powder, and we can go a little bit more. You want to go to the point where it's powdery, but if you go too long, the fats in the nuts and the seeds will start to clump like peanut butter. And this grinder is a cool grinder. It doesn't heat up, so you don't have to worry about the seeds and nuts getting hot. So there we have, there's still some in there, but that's fine. There we have our protein powder. Okay, so we're going to set that aside because now we're going to move on to our overnight oats. And I like to make my overnight oats in a jar because that way I close it up, put it in the refrigerator, and the next day I grab and go. Or grab and stay, but I just grab. And I'm going to go ahead and put on my gloves for this. So the first thing I do when I'm making the overnight oats is I smash up a banana. And the banana is going to act as the sweetener. You don't need to add any other sweetener to this. I find that when I have overnight oats compared to cooked oats, it doesn't need to be as sweet for some reason. I'm not sure why, maybe because they're cold and you don't need as much sweetness. I really don't know. But the banana seems to give it enough sweetness that you don't have to add anything more. So I'm throwing my banana in there, and then I'm just going to smash it on the side with my fork. And I do this, 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh shoot, I wanted to make some overnight oats. And I'll just run in the kitchen and I'll make it real fast. It doesn't take a minute. Smash up the banana, and then in the morning the breakfast is done. Then I'm going to add my oats, and that's a half a cup of oats, rolled, old-fashioned, organic oats. And I'm going to combine that with the banana. This is not rocket science, but what is important is this is a good way to have an easily digestible meal that you can prepare ahead of time. So when you're feeling good, you can make these up and have them ready. They'll last 3, 4, even up to 5 days in the fridge. You leave it too long, it's not that they're going to go bad, but you leave it too long and the banana might get a little strong. So I'm going to add my protein powder. The recipe says 1 tablespoon. We're going to put 2. I've found that since I did this, I've found that 2 tablespoons of the protein powder gives you more protein, number 1, but also I like the consistency of the oats in the morning. So what we have when we're making the protein powder, by the way, what you have is per tablespoon, you have about 5 grams of a complete protein. That's almost the same as an egg. So 10 grams, when we double it, of course, you're going to have twice as much. So 10 grams of protein is nothing to sneeze at for your breakfast. All right, we're going to add some vanilla. I think I said about a teaspoon or something. We're going to add the cinnamon, and you put what you like. I think what I put in there said was 1/4 of a teaspoon. I never measure my vanilla or cinnamon for some reason. Okay, so we're just going to add that, mix that up. Then we're going to put in our milk. And this is a half a cup, sorry, this is 1 cup of almond milk. 1 cup of almond milk. You can use any milk you like. I'm using almond milk, but if you like dairy, you can use dairy milk, but this is a vegan day, so we're using almond milk. And make sure that when you buy if you make your own almond milk, you don't have to worry. Just make sure you get organic almonds. But if you're buying your almond milk, get organic almond milk and make sure that the ingredients are clean and you're not, there's absolutely no carrageenan for sure in there, and then all the other ingredients, you know what they are. Califia makes one that's pretty good. I'm adding the pecans now that I chopped up. Califia makes an almond milk that's pretty good, pretty clean. There's a couple of almond milks now on the market. They're pretty expensive, but they are just almonds and water. That's it. But they are kind of expensive, so if you can make it at home, the ratio of almond milk, I'm putting my raisins. By the way, sometimes I use goji berries. Sometimes I use raisins. If you want to use dried blueberries, that's okay, but do be careful because usually dried blueberries have added sugar and you don't really want that. Your raisins or your goji berries or whatever you're putting in here are going to get nice and plump and soft in the morning. So I'm stirring that in, and then I'm going to put my blueberries, and that's a half a cup of blueberries. I'm using fresh blueberries in the oatmeal. You can use frozen. The only thing is sometimes the frozen might make it a little bit more, because of the liquid, the water in the blueberries, it might make it more runny. And that's ready. That's ready to go for tomorrow morning or tonight, because you can make it in the morning and then have it tonight. And then this, so you see how liquidy it is now? Yeah. Don't know if you saw that or not. And then this is what it's going to be the next morning. You see the thickness of that? So again, the liquidy, and then tomorrow morning, okay? If you want to heat it up, you could do that. But this way you can just take it, and if you're going to your treatment, or if you're just wanting to go sit outside on your balcony, you can just take this and eat it, just right out of the jar. Okay? All right, so that's the oats. You see these recipes are going pretty fast. I have some questions here I think I'll answer in between. If you heat the protein, like in a stew, do you lose any of the nutrients? You don't lose the nutrients, you may lose the enzymes. So when you cook things, the nutrients should still be okay, and you're not going to boil it. What you would do is you'd put it towards the end of your cooking. Anything you want to be careful with of nutrients, you put at the end of your cooking, and you're going to preserve it more. It'll still be fine. And depending on how hot you make it, you might lose some enzymes, because when it's raw, you have enzymes. When it's cooked, you don't. But I think you'll be okay. I think you're totally okay to put this in a cooked product. You can even put it in muffins or scones or things like that. And you're still going to have the nutrients you're still going to have the protein, which is what we're looking for here mostly, and then you're still going to have the omega-3s. That's not going to go away. What's going to go away is the enzymes, but I think you're okay with it. How big a coffee grinder are you using? Would it hold a half a cup or more? A half a cup. We had a half a cup in these. We used 2, 4, 6, 8 tablespoons, 9 tablespoons, and 4 tablespoons is a half a cup. So we used a cup's worth. That was a cup's worth of ingredients here. Okay? Is that correct? No, 4 tablespoons is a fourth of a cup. So we used a half a cup of ingredients here. All right, now we're going to make the, let's see, next recipe. Put the berry in the coconut. And what we want to do here, the reason we're doing this, it's a very simple smoothie. It's not really anything magic. But what this smoothie does is this can be prepared ahead of time, and you can put it in the freezer. Make sure you leave about 1 inch to 2 inches of space, because you're going to be doing it in glass, between the ingredients and the lid, because otherwise you're going to break your glass. I've done it before. And this is something also that is really easy to eat. So at night, if you're not feeling like you have no appetite, but you know you should be eating something, you can just sip on this while you're watching TV. It's kind of soothing. It's easy to swallow. It's filling. It is filling because of the coconut milk. Coconut milk is heavier. This is coconut milk, not coconut milk like you would have in a drink. So if you go to the store and you're looking at almond milks or soy milks or things like that, alternate milks, you're going to see coconut milk also. But that is a different product than this. This is a creamier, this is a cooking product. The coconut milk is a cooking product. And it's going to be heavier than the coconut milk that you'll find in a Tetra Pak box, okay? And this has cream at the top. And remember, we're wanting to have a little bit more, and I like this because it has a pop top. We're wanting to have a little bit more nutrients and a little bit more fat if we're having problems eating. I don't have that problem, but if you're having problems eating, you want to have a little bit more fat and a little bit more calories to make sure you're getting the calories that you need. On the top of the coconut milk is this kind of like hard cream. if you're making, I'm making the whole recipe, which makes 48 ounces. Obviously, you're not going to drink 48 ounces. So either you're sharing this or you're saving it. You can save it in the refrigerator or you can save it in the freezer. The refrigerator will last about 3 days because, again, we have raw bananas here. But if you decide I only want to make 1 serving, when you do that, make sure when you open the can of coconut milk, you put it in the blender first and process the whole thing so that you get this cream part incorporated into the water part. Okay? So we're going to put it, this is what you would do. You would just put it into the blender, the whole can. And then you would blend it up before, and then pour out how much you need. You would need, for 1 serving, you would need 1 cup of, half a cup of coconut milk. Because the coconut milk is 1.5 cups worth. 1 can is 1.5 cups. We're going to put 3 bananas. And the 3 cups of blueberries, the reason I came up with that is because it's exactly how much is in a package of frozen blueberries. So, the ones I use. So, this way you're using the whole can of coconut milk, you're using the whole package of blueberries, and I'm using the wild blueberries. I get these at Trader Joe's, but you can get any. These happen to have no pesticides. Even though they're not organic, they have no pesticides, but you can use fresh or frozen. Just make sure they're organic. Any type that you like. I'm going to put 6 tablespoons of protein powder. I believe is what I said. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that, I have a little bit left here, maybe 2 tablespoons. So that that recipe made pretty much just right for this. Was there anything else I'm missing? No. Okay, so we're going to blend this up, and here we go. So now you have a beautiful color smoothie that is really delicious. It really tastes like a treat. Now you can put other things into this smoothie. You can put spinach, you can put kale, you can put any greens you like. You can add peanut butter, you could add almond butter, any of these things. What I'm trying to do here is to give you something that you can eat that's totally digestible, totally easy to swallow, easy on your taste buds, something that will get you nutrients, get you the calories you need, and full of antioxidants, really good for you, but easy to do. So, and I think it's very attractive. If you start adding other things to it, it'll change the color, but I think it's a really pretty color. Okay, so that's the smoothie, and I think we have some more questions. Oh, we have quite a few. Okay, does coconut milk have protein? Coconut milk does not have protein in it, but it has properties that helps the protein, helps your body absorb the protein. What can be substituted for bananas if allergic? Okay, so that's a good question. you can use dates, fresh dates, to sweeten any item that you're using bananas for. Dates, use the fresh ones, the medjool dates. They're plumper, wetter. You might want to even soak them a little bit to get to that same consistency. I don't know the quantity. Probably dates are sweeter than bananas, so maybe try one date for one banana, and then if it's not sweet enough, you could add another, okay, or another, until you get to the point that you like it. What are the benefits of pea protein? Okay, pea protein, that's very, very popular now, and I'm not saying it's not good, but what I am saying is that it's an extract from the split pea. It's not the whole pea. And I have a little bit of a problem when you take things out of something to make something else. The benefits of pea protein is that it's a complete protein. It's highly accessible for your body to use. So it's a great source. I hear nothing but good about it. It's just my personal feeling of not wanting to use a processed product. What is a complete protein, and why is it so important? Okay, well, a complete protein is something that contains all 9 of the essential amino acids. And certain things do not have, they have part of it, and then other things have part of it, so they complement each other. For example, grain and nuts complement each other. Grains and beans complement each other. So when you have rice and beans, you're getting a complete protein. When you have seeds and oats, nuts and oats, you're getting a complete protein. So for example, our oatmeal, we had oats and nuts in that. You're getting a complete protein. When you have the seeds and the nuts like we had in our protein powder, almost all of them are complete proteins, but the ones that aren't are complemented by the lysine, or I believe it's the lysine that's missing. It's complemented by the lysine in the other items, so that makes a complete protein. And why is it important? It's important because that's what your body can use. That allows your body to use that protein as a complete protein. So it's the same as protein that's in a meat or an animal product. So it's totally accessible for your body. How long will the smoothie keep in the fridge? The smoothie will keep probably about 3 days. I wouldn't keep it in the fridge longer than that because the bananas, you know how they get when they get old, they get really strong. But if you freeze it, you can freeze it for, a few weeks. You'd be okay. And remember, when you're freezing, make sure you leave space between the product, the liquid, and the lid. And I have another question. How does fat provide energy? So fat is the slowest energy. It stores in your body, and it provides energy when everything else has been used. It provides the energy that you need, but it's a sustained energy. So when you think of how you get a craving for sugar when you're tired. So you go for a candy bar or whatever, and that picks you up for a moment or half an hour maybe. That's a simple carbohydrate. And a simple carbohydrate, it gives you the fastest energy. But a fat, on the other hand, on the other side of the spectrum, a fat gives you a slow, sustained energy. And it's the most efficient energy that you can have. Okay? Any other questions? One more, maybe 2, I don't know. Thank you. How long will overnight oats keep in the freezer? Oh, I don't think that you should freeze overnight oats. I haven't tried that, but I think the consistency wouldn't be good. I think you're going to get kind of no, I don't think I'd like it. You know when you freeze cheese, how it changes the consistency? I think you're going to find that with the overnight oats. So don't freeze the overnight oats. Just keep those for maybe 3 days in your fridge. Okay? So if there are no more questions, or if you have questions later on, go ahead and send me an email at 2life 2life-2health@hotmail.com. You can visit me on my website at www.2life2health.com, 2life-2health.com, and we'll be back again, let's see, I believe June 10th, to have a discussion about how we can be healthy in the summertime. Okay, so it was nice sharing with you, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Thank you. Bye-bye.